Hello, welcome to QA Tutorials. So in this video we'll talk about Xpath and how to build Xpath in Selenium Automation. It's very important to understand Xpath for Selenium Automation, as we're going to use the Xpath expressions to find elements on the syntax will be. So this is the syntax for Xpath. It has double slash, backslash, forward slash, and then tag name, then attribute name, and value of attribute. Right. So the tag name is nothing but the tag name in the HTML element. So it can be HTML tag or input tag, label tag, or anything. And attribute, any attribute to the name of the web elements. It can be ID attribute, name attribute, or class attribute, anything, and then the value of the attribute. This is the generic syntax of Xpath element, Xpath query to identify elements on the page. Let us see what are the different variations of this Xpath element which we can use to find the elements. So we can do there is multiple ways to locate elements in the using Xpath. So we'll go one by one, right? So the first one is single slash. So single slash, it selects the node from the root, right? So directly it starts from the root and look for the element, right? So it's like providing the full path of the element. Suppose, for example, if you have like a slash HTML, it will look for the HTML element at the start of the document, right? So suppose if you see here in the example page, right? So if we inspect this page, so we'll check the starting tag. So the starting tag is HTML. So if you say slash HTML, it will start looking from the beginning of the document, right? Similarly, we have double slash. So double slash, it will select any element in the DOM, right? So the document object model that matches the selection. So if you say like double slash input, so it will select the input node present anywhere in the DOM, right? It's not like at the beginning of the document. It will anywhere in the document, the input element is there, it will select that. Then the address sign, @sign, right? @sign will select the particular attribute of the node. So suppose say if we give like double slash @text, it will select all the elements which have text attribute. Then that will select the current node. So I will show some examples of these selections in the code. Then we have another way to select is asterisk. It will select any element present in the node. Suppose if you say double slash div slash star, this matches with any of the child nodes of the div, right? There is multiple child nodes. It will match any of the child nodes, right? Then address and asterisk, it will select any attribute of the given node. So if you say div within square bracket @star, it will matches any of the div nodes that contains at least one attribute any type, right? Then the pipe expression used to select different paths. If you have to select two different paths in the same expression, we're going to use the pipe. So this is some of the ways to locate elements in the using Xpath in Selenium. So let us see one by one how we can use these paths in our example. So we want to check this page and find name element using different paths, right? So suppose if we want to select the root, first we'll start with the single slash. So here we want to just do the image button and see, we can give the relative path and full path, right? This image search, which has a tag image, right? So I have examples that are already prepared for you. So I'll just explain this. So this is the test case, testing this web page. The image button with full path, so it has a /HTML body navigation A button and image. So it's giving the full path of the element, right? That's how it's found in the full path. So if we want to give relative path, we're doing a double slash. That's what we discussed here. The double slash, so it will find anywhere on the page, right? If you do double slash, you don't need to give the full path, it will immediately find the image tag. So this is the double slash image, right? Then the common way to find the @ sign, right? So @ sign, you can use the find the attribute, right? So we are looking at ID attribute with value name, right? So if you see the name inspect, it has the ID with name attribute with ID with value as name, right? That's what we're trying to find, name. Then we can also find using the current element using the dot, right? Single dot. So you're going to put the expression with single dot, it will still find the name, right? We are still finding the name attribute, but we are putting a dot saying that select the current node. So we have the double dot, so that will select the parent element, right? So there is option to select the parent element. So we want to select the full name label. In this example, we want to select the name label, right? This name label. So if we have the name text box, we can go back to 2 levels with double dots, then come back to the name label. That's what we did here. We identified the name element, right? Then we went back 2 levels, then we got the div and label. That will give the label of the name text box, this text box, right? So it's about 2 levels. So we can go back to the parent and come back to the another element using the double dot, right? Then we have this matching with any attribute, right? So we are not giving any, we are giving a star here in the attribute name level. So you can find any attribute with value name and it will select that element. And that's what we discussed about star in the attribute level. Then pipe, we can match different paths in the single expression. So suppose if you want to find both name and phone number, we can use the pipe expression. So we are finding the name and we are also finding the phone number label in this expression. Right? We're just printing out to see if this is what is working. So basically we have ways to navigate through full path or relative path, right? Using double slash, you can go by the attribute ID, you can also select current node, we can also select parent nodes using double dots. Then we can find match any attribute with some value and also pipe. So these are the different ways common ways you can use Xpath to select elements on the web page. Let's run this and see if this works. Run a Java application. So it will basically select the name text box and type in the text, and it will find the labels and print the text into the program output. So it's starting the Chrome browser, it's launching. So you're going to type the text on the name box and select the labels and print. right? So 3 times it printed on the name box, and got the labels as well, right? So this is how you use different Xpath expressions to identify elements, right? So you can practice these elements and get some idea. I will provide this code in the description of the video so that you can also check it. And there is a couple of other ways also find elements using predicates, right? If we have multiple nodes under parent, you can also find the last element of the node using last predicate, right? Get the last node, div/input/last. So it will find the input element under div, the last element, last input element. Also you can get the specific position node, right? div/input position 2, it will give the second position of the second node of the div element, which is of type input, right? So this is also useful to identify elements using predicates. And there is another concept in Xpath which is called absolute path and relative path. So absolute path is the full path of the element where you can find the element, right? So like in the case of image, we are giving full path like HTML body, navigation, a tag and image, that is the full path. And the relative path is we did /image, that is the relative path. So it's important we use the relative path in our expressions as absolute path. So the page elements can change anytime. If we change the design of the page, the absolute path changes. So always use relative path in our Xpath expressions to find elements. That is more maintainable and get a better code, test code. So this is all about Xpath and Xpath expressions, and I think you got some idea about how to locate elements using different types of Xpath in Selenium. And I will also provide the sample code in the video description, so you can also try these Xpath expressions. So if you like this video, click on the like button, and if you have any questions, put it in the comment section.